Is Amplify Science actually a good curriculum? That's a very popular question right now, and it has been in the education world, especially if you're an admin, especially if you're a science teacher, because everyone's been on the hunt for the next best science curriculum. So let's talk about Amplify Science. So it is one of the most widely used curricula in the country right now, serving over 18 million students and teachers across America as of August 2025. And more schools are continuing to purchase this curriculum. Why? Because Amplify has the credentials to back it up. It's known for its NGSS alignment, its phenomenon based approach to learning, and its hands on investigations, which everyone is obsessed with. They want more experiments. Also earned an all green rating from EdReports across K-8, which means it meets every criteria for NGSS alignment, usability, and coherence, which is a pretty big deal. But here is the thing, and you and I as educators know this. Something could be great in theory and on paper, but it could be a whole different conversation when it comes to actual implementation, when it comes to actually using the curriculum. So that's what this video actually is going to be. It's going to be an honest review, the real pros and cons of Amplify Science, coming from a passionate educator who's been in education for over 15 years. And right now, I'm an instructional coach where I travel throughout schools in New York City, working with very diverse teachers and school settings. So if you're a teacher or an admin, you are in the right place. This video is for you. Let's get into it. First off, Amplify Science. This curriculum was written at UC Berkeley's Lawrence Hall of Science in collaboration with Amplify's instructional technologists. It means that the research, the content, and the technology that they provide in this curriculum is pretty good. It goes beyond generic science. These lessons are actually very genuinely NGSS aligned. They want students to ask questions, to lead investigations, to collect and analyze data, to form opinions, to edit and refine their opinions and their thoughts, and to problem solve. And they're all designed to start with the phenomenon and let students drive from there. And I have seen students really be engaged in that and be excited by that. And so this goes into the next pro, which is these videos and simulation and hands-on experiments that are built in. Offers a lot of exposure for our students and really pushes our students to be thinkers like scientists. The last pro I will give them for now is that there are many resources available on that website. They give a ton of background information, and since it was written by academics and scientists, there is a ton of additional readings and resources and videos for teachers and students. There's pre-made PowerPoints with scripts built in for the teachers to use and to modify. All great stuff. If you have a passionate educator in the room who knows what they're doing, Amplify Science would be an amazing resource for the school and for the culture and for the students, which is the top priority. But anyway, let's get into the cons of the curriculum. One of the best criticism that I have read about Amplify Science, that it is a curriculum, it is a reading program disguised as a science curriculum. And when I read that, I was stopped in my tracks and I was like, that's really true. That's actually a very good and valid point. There is so much reading to be done. It's not just a reading program for the students. I believe it is also a massive reading program for the teachers. I know you teachers know this, but admin, I don't know if you've ever stopped and opened up Amplify Science and tried to use it yourself to teach one lesson. I am telling you, it is extremely overwhelming because there is so much information. You will be intimidated and even overwhelmed by the amount of reading that is expected for teachers to be able to teach this lesson plan, this curriculum with fidelity. And the reason why is because to the pro that it was written by academics, that is the con. It was written by academics. Academics who are experts in this field have a ton of knowledge and a different type of skills than what our teachers are originally trained to do. Our teachers, one, are not only not really trained in that academic sense, it is what it is. Two, who has the time truly to sit down and read pages and pages of dense information to be able to understand how to teach these lessons. And that's the thing with Amplify Science. For teachers to be able to teach it effectively, teach it beautifully, to truly teach it at that high level, they need a very strong understanding of the big picture. They need clear examples. They need many models. They need lots of teachers teaching it in practice in their school settings, or at least something similar to it, to see what the curriculum has been trying to do. This is going to be a jump to teach because we were never taught this way. But without the right support, without the right training, teachers can feel extremely discouraged and overwhelmed to spend the time to explore and consistently use it, which is why it leads to burnout, and teachers don't feel good wanting to even open up the website. And I do believe Amplify does offer trainings about this. Not only does it cost extra, a lot of these Amplify trainings, which I have sat through and which you have sat through, they're just too disconnected from the every day-to-day experience of the teacher, and it's not tailored to the specific school's problem. And now the next con, which is the materials and the lab setups. Nearly impossible for teachers to be able to set up this many lab experiments without support. And I'm not saying that there is no solution, but I am asking admin to sit with this problem and to recognize and have compassion for our teachers, which is why they cannot do all the lab hands-on experiments. And the next con about these experiments, I'm going to be really honest with you, is that sometimes they are very low rigor and they get really boring. Sometimes they feel like these experiments are just there for the sake of being an experiment. Sometimes they're kind of pointless. And the worst part is that the bar is really low. And so sometimes students can solve the pattern or the phenomena very quickly in the unit. And so the rest of the lessons become mundane, they become repetitive, and they become quite pointless. And so what happens if that's the case? Well, that's going to be another whole set of training our teachers need to be able to adapt and extend these conversations and these lessons for the students who need that extension. And now, last but not least, I'm not going to go too much into this, but Amplify Science doesn't do a great job of preparing students for the state test, and I'm going to make a whole nother video about this if you want. If you do want it, leave a comment. Overall, the honest answer is Amplify Science a good curriculum? Well, the question itself is a trick because there is no such thing as a good curriculum. Because a curriculum in isolation can be great, it can be amazing, it can be horrible, but it really depends in the environment in which the curriculum is living and breathing. It depends on the staff's culture, on the students' needs, on the admin support, for what it is, for what Amplify is. Amplify Science does a really decent job of being NGSS aligned and pushing for students to be critical thinkers. And so would I recommend it to your school? It really depends. You have to take an honest look on your staff, your teacher's experience, their capacity to manage multiple moving pieces, the student's collective background, the student's experience, the budget for real training and support. And the other one is your teacher's actual skills and learning capabilities. So my name is Grace. I'll be sure to talk more about conversations like this. I hope this reaches the right people. It has been an honor making this video. Please leave a comment, ask any questions, and yeah, let's have these conversations. Let's have these real honest conversations. It is about time, okay? Let's work together. Let's do it. It's for the kids. Peace.